Department, our police department, our public works department are out. The rain is still falling. We've had over 6 inches the last I heard, and with possibly 4 more to come.
Evacuations across western Kentucky overnight into this morning. Areas like Mayfield now in emergency mode. The same communities devastated by tornadoes a year and a half ago now underwater with nearly 10 inches of rain so far. Fortunately, no one's been injured in any of this, but help is standing by. Governor Andy Beshear showing his support for the community, taking to Twitter saying that we are working to assess the damage and respond. Just like every challenge we face, we will be there for all of those affected. We'll get through this together. Closer to home, taking a look at some of the damage to a home in Campbellsville, south of Louisville. This is video of a tree that slammed directly into the garage of that house after storms and heavy rain swept through our area Tuesday evening. A lot to get to today. Weather definitely on the forefront. Taking a look back again in the western communities, Sam, they're still getting hit.
Yeah, that's right. Actually, upwards of a 24-hour rain event actually for Paducah and points across extreme western Kentucky. There's actually a flash flood emergency until 1 o'clock Central Time for much of western Kentucky right now. You can see those are the counties shaded in that blue polygon boxes. That's actually denoting that Doppler radar estimates between 8 to 14 inches of rainfall has been occurring for that area, and this is the past 24 hours on radar. So, of course, we had the storms yesterday afternoon that also we dealt with here in Louisville and Kentuckiana, but the past 12 hours you can see that they really have been seeing a lot of heavy thunderstorms, a lot of lightning, and very heavy rainfall. There it is, a little bit closer look. You can see areas shaded in that white color just south of Paducah. That's where Doppler radar estimated around a foot of rain has fallen so far. So there's been a lot of flooded conditions going on for our friends off to the west of us. Now, locally, the deal is here in Louisville and Kentuckiana, we are very quiet. Most of these thunderstorms are making their way down to the south, but we have enough ingredients available in our kind of picture right now and in our weather outlook for a couple of pop-up storms today that could be turning severe, but we're going to be watching our max issue radar closely. This is the rest of this afternoon. Most areas will be staying quiet likely, and as we take a look at later tonight, again, there will be some more storms developing to the southwest of us, more so overnight tonight and into tomorrow morning. But Brooke, we're going to be watching this complex. I'll let you know the exact threats with this thunderstorm complex as it will be eyeballing much of the Louisville area midday tomorrow around this time, coming up here in a few minutes.
All right, Sam, thanks so much. More on those strong storms that moved through Kentuckiana last night. Some of the lightning strikes that moved through Oldham County. These storms really packed a punch, knocking out power to hundreds of you. About 236 LG&E customers in Jefferson and Oldham counties still dealing with those power issues, but that number is rapidly decreasing, and that's down from about 1,500 last night. Louisville emergency officials say no one was hurt despite those outages and flash floods. Our Taylor Woods and photojournalist Jessica Farley saw some of it firsthand.
Some Lake Forest residents are now left stranded after heavy rainfall. If you take a look behind me, you can see that 2 vehicles are partially submerged and 1 car is completely underwater.
Turn around, don't drown.
That's the best advice for everyone driving in Tuesday's rainfall. From flooded streets on Evergreen Road in Anchorage to 3 cars being stuck in water on what were roads before the heavy rain hit the Lake Forest neighborhood.
I thought it was kind of cool. I only saw the first 2 the 2 at first. But I think the blue car is the craziest because they're almost fully submerged.
Even with road may flood signs posted, residents still took the risk and got caught in the heavy rain, unable to turn around to avoid being stuck. But Lake Forest resident Stephen Weinstein says it's not unusual for this to happen in the neighborhood.
I mean, it happens yearly, but when it does happen, I think it's kind of fun to see the cars and how people damage their cars and get stuck. I think it's kind of funny.
Just around the corner in front of Gregory Mefford's house, his neighbor's car got stuck, surrounded by water that inundated the street. Mefford's wife recorded this scene outside her window as it happened.
By the time I got back over here by this car, it was starting to pond a little bit. And by the time I got in this driveway and went upstairs, it was all the way into the car.
Mefford is a former meteorologist with the National Weather Service, and he says he took 3 steps out of his car and he was drenched.
I think we probably got somewhere between 4 inches or so in about 45 minutes. So that's about an inch every 10 minutes.
Near Middletown, Taylor Woods, WHAS11 on your side.
And it's always a good reminder when this kind of severe weather hits to make sure you have that WHAS11 news app on your phone. We do push critical weather alerts as soon as they are issued. Kentucky's Attorney General and Republican candidate for governor Daniel Cameron just announced his running mate this morning. He selected State Senator Robbie Mills, a steadfast conservative with a record of shepherding pro-coal legislation and anti-transgender legislation related to school-aged athletes, both of which fit into Cameron's campaign themes. The 56-year-old senator represents a district in western Kentucky, a region that's shifted heavily toward the GOP in recent years. The sprawling region is seen by Cameron's campaign as crucial to its strategy of overcoming Governor Andy Beshear's expected advantage in the state's largest cities. Meanwhile, Governor Beshear is once again teaming up with Jacqueline Coleman as his lieutenant governor. She filed for re-election Tuesday at the state capitol. With a background as a high school teacher, she too served as the Education and Labor Cabinet Secretary until 2021. A man is behind bars after police say he attempted to kill an LMPD officer. Davion Cromartie was arrested on Friday. Officers said his girlfriend called police when he refused to leave her apartment in Old Louisville over at 3rd and West Hill Streets. We're told he resisted arrest and at one point wrapped his legs around the officer's neck in an attempt to strangle him. When a second officer tried to help, the report says then his girlfriend jumped on the officer and tried to disarm her. Both officers were able to free themselves and make that arrest a short time later. Cromartie's charged with attempted murder of an officer and assault and expected in court on Monday. Metro Police believe they have solved a double murder from last year. The suspect is an adult now, but when the shooting occurred in June of last year, he was a teenager. So his name has not been released. Police say he shot both 40-year-old Stephen Curtis and 21-year-old Gary Brown Jr. at the Oxmoor apartment complex. DNA, digital evidence, and surveillance video helped lead police to their suspect. Governor Andy Beshear and the Kentucky State Police will release the annual crime report for the state of Kentucky today. It'll include data from all law enforcement agencies across the state. Beshear is expected to announce decreases in several serious crime categories and highlight steps his administration's taking to protect kids from online predators and enhance 911 response. This will be live streamed on the governor's official Facebook and YouTube pages beginning at 1:30 this afternoon. And here in Louisville, we've already seen about 90 homicides and 250 non-fatal shootings this year. On top of the mental and physical turmoil that's caused our families, it's also cost the city more than $200 million. Our Grace McKenna breaks down what that means.
Louisville faces a staggering epidemic of gun violence, and city leaders say everyone pays the price.
What we really learned is that violence has a cost to all of us here in our community.
We sat down with Deputy Mayor David James to talk about this report from Ocean and the NICJR. The key takeaways: each homicide in the city costs about $934,000. Each non-fatal shooting, a little over $500,000. On average, the city spends about $108 million a year on homicides.
$108 million will go a long ways towards helping address our affordable housing problem and lots of things in between.
Among the priciest services, hospital stays, criminal justice, and incarceration. The report also recommends greater upfront spending on violence prevention.
It's a lot cheaper to spend the money up front than it is way down the line.
James said the Greenberg administration was already taking this report into account when crafting next year's budget, and he identified 3 key areas for spending.
There has not been any reduction in violence in any community where you don't have good, strong prevention efforts and great law enforcement efforts combined together with good reentry efforts.
James also noted gang and group violence are connected to roughly 30% of homicides, saying that's a place where the community can make a difference.
It's very important that parents become parents. Know where your child is.
James says those directly impacted by gun violence, families, friends, and the victims themselves, know the costs.
As they say, it always comes down to money.
He's hopeful these numbers add up.
My tax dollars are going to this.
For others.
When it could be going to this, which would really benefit our community, I think it'll have an effect on people.
And the cost of gun violence appears to be rising. A version of this report from 2021 showed homicides at a cost of just over $900,000.